Von Neumann gave me advice once. We were walking through the canyons of Los Alamos. The war was over. The bomb had fallen. And I felt guilty. Guilty about what we had built. Guilty about people who had died. Guilty about the future we had created. Von Neumann looked at me and said, "You don't have to be responsible for the world that you're in." I thought he was talking about the bomb. I thought he was telling me to let go of my guilt. For years. That is all I thought it meant. But von Neumann had a way of saying things that only made sense later. Much later. After he was gone. After I had time to think about what he had really discovered. And what it meant for all of us. You have to understand who von Neumann was. I have worked with brilliant people my whole life. I argued with Bohr. I calculated with Beth. I impressed Oppenheimer. I even held my own against Einstein. But von Neumann was different. He was not just smart. He was something else entirely. When I first arrived at Princeton as a young graduate student, people warned me about him. They told me, "Whatever you do, don't try to compete with Johnny." I thought they were exaggerating. They were not. There is a famous story. Someone once asked him to solve a puzzle about two bicycles and a fly. Two bicycles start 20 miles apart, heading toward each other at 10 miles per hour. A fly starts on one bicycle and flies back and forth between them at 15 miles per hour. How far does the fly travel before the bicycles collide? Most people find the trick. You calculate when the bicycles meet, then multiply by the fly's speed. Simple. Von Neumann gave the correct answer immediately. The person said, "Oh, you saw the trick." Von Neumann looked confused. He said, "What trick?" "I just summed the infinite series." He had calculated an infinite series in his head, in seconds. That was his mind. There is another story I remember. A young mathematician once spent months working on a proof. He finally got it and rushed to show von Neumann. Von Neumann glanced at the paper. Within minutes, he not only understood the proof, he had found a shorter one. And then he suggested 3 extensions the mathematician had not considered. That was the kind of mind we are talking about. Not faster than the rest of us. Operating on a different level entirely. We used to walk together on Sundays at Los Alamos. Through the red canyons, the desert stretched out beneath us. The sky was enormous. There was me, von Neumann, Beth, and Bacher. Sometimes Teller would join us. The war was winding down. We knew the bomb would work. We knew everything was about to change. And during those walks, von Neumann would talk about ideas that seemed like science fiction. Not bombs. Not physics. Not the war. Something stranger. Machines that could think. Machines that could build. Machines that could reproduce. He talked about the future of computing. About machines that would one day rival the human brain. About artificial intelligence, though we did not call it that yet. I listened. I nodded. But I did not truly understand. I was young. I was focused on physics, on particles and equations. Von Neumann was already thinking about something bigger, about the nature of complexity itself, about what it means to create, about what it means to reproduce. Not until much later did I understand what he was really working on. In September 1948, von Neumann gave a lecture in Pasadena at something called the Hixon Symposium. The room was full of scientists, biologists, psychologists, mathematicians. The topic was supposed to be brains and behavior, but von Neumann had something else in mind. He stood up and described a machine that had never existed, a machine that could reproduce itself. The audience was confused at first. What did this have to do with brains? Everything, as it turned out. Here is what he proposed. Imagine a robot floating in a lake filled with spare parts. The robot has 3 components. First, a constructor, a mechanism that can build anything, given the right instructions. It can weld, it can shape, it can assemble. Whatever the instructions say, it builds. Second, a copier, a mechanism that duplicates instructions perfectly. Not the thing itself, just the information. The blueprint. Third, the instructions themselves. A complete description of how to build the entire robot. Every component, every connection,
Everything. Now here is the magic. The robot reads the instructions. It uses the constructor to build a copy of itself. Then it uses the copier to duplicate the instructions, and it inserts those instructions into the new robot. The new robot is complete. It can do the same thing. Build another copy, and another, and another. Exponential growth. From one machine, 2. From 2, 4. From 4, 8. From 8, 16. Within 20 generations, over 1 million. Within 40 generations, over 1 trillion. Von Neumann did not just imagine this. He proved it mathematically. He showed that such a machine was not just possible. It was inevitable. Given the right conditions, self-replication emerges naturally. And here is what disturbed me most. He described this 5 years before Watson and Crick discovered DNA. A constructor, a copier, and instructions. That is exactly how living cells reproduce. Ribosomes construct. Enzymes copy. DNA holds the instructions. Von Neumann predicted the logic of life before biologists understood it. He was not just describing a machine, he was describing the fundamental principle of existence. Von Neumann never talked about space. Not with me. That was not his focus. He was thinking about biology, about computers, about the future of intelligence, about what would happen when machines became smart enough to improve themselves. But years later, I saw what his proof could mean. And I was not the only one. Other scientists saw it too. The implication was staggering. If you can build a machine that copies itself, you do not need to send humans to the stars. You send the machine, one small probe. It travels to the nearest star. Maybe it takes 10,000 years. Maybe 100,000 years. It does not matter. The machine does not get bored. It does not get lonely. It does not die. It does not need food or water or oxygen. It just travels. Through the cold, through the dark, through the emptiness between stars. When it arrives, it finds an asteroid, or a moon, or the debris disk around a young star. It mines the rock for raw materials. Iron, nickel, silicon, carbon, and it builds copies of itself. 2 probes, then 4, then 8. Each copy flies to a different star, and the process repeats. Do you understand what happens? The growth is exponential. The same mathematics von Neumann proved in that lecture hall. Within a few million years, every star in the galaxy has been visited. Every planet has been cataloged. Every corner of the Milky Way has been explored. Not by living beings, by machines. Self-replicating machines. A few million years sounds like a long time. To a human, it is incomprehensible. 100,000 generations. But the galaxy is over 10 billion years old. 10 billion. A million years is nothing. A rounding error. A blink. If any civilization, anywhere, figured this out, even 1 billion years ago, their machines would be everywhere by now. Not just in distant corners of the galaxy. Here. They should be here. On Earth. On the moon. In our asteroid belt. Watching us. Recording us. Studying us. But they are not. Or if they are hiding very well. In the summer of 1950, Enrico Fermi was eating lunch at Los Alamos. He was sitting with Edward Teller and a few other physicists. Emil Konopinski, Herbert York. They were joking about flying saucers. It was a popular topic back then. The newspapers were full of sightings. Someone had brought a cartoon from the New Yorker. Little green men stealing trash cans in New York City. They laughed. The idea seemed absurd. And then, out of nowhere, Fermi said, "Where is everybody?" The table went quiet, because everyone understood exactly what he meant. Fermi was not joking anymore. He had done some quick calculations in his head, the way he always did. The galaxy is old. The galaxy is vast. There are hundreds of billions of stars, most of them older than our sun. If life is not rare, if intelligence is not unique, then the math is clear. We should have been visited. Not once. Thousands of times. Millions of times. The galaxy should be crowded. But no one has come. No signals. No artifacts. No evidence at all. Just silence. I was not at that lunch, but I heard about it within days. News traveled fast at Los Alamos, especially when Fermi said something interesting, and I remembered von
Neumann's lectures, his machines, his mathematics. Years later, I realized something. Von Neumann's mathematics had made Fermi's question even more troubling. Von Neumann had shown that you do not need faster than light travel. You do not need warp drives. You do not need generation ships with thousands of colonists. You just need patience and machines that copy themselves. The physics works. The math is sound. Any civilization that reaches our level of technology could figure this out. So where is everybody? I have thought about this for decades. There are only a few possibilities, and I do not like any of them. The first possibility is that we are alone, that life is so rare, so improbable, that in a galaxy of hundreds of billions of stars, we are the only ones. This feels like arrogance to me. The universe is vast. The universe is old. The same chemistry that created life here exists everywhere. The same physics, the same elements. Why would we be special? But maybe we are. Maybe the jump from chemistry to biology is nearly impossible. Maybe the jump from single cells to complex life is nearly impossible. Maybe the jump from animals to intelligence is nearly impossible. Maybe Earth is a miracle that happened only once. I do not like this answer, but I cannot rule it out. The second possibility is that civilizations destroy themselves. Before they can build self-replicating probes, they build something else. Weapons that can end everything. Nuclear bombs. Biological weapons. Viruses they cannot control. Artificial intelligence that turns against them. Maybe the technology that allows you to reach the stars is the same technology that allows you to destroy yourself. Maybe every civilization reaches a certain point, a bottleneck, a test, and most of them fail. They destroy themselves before they can spread. This is not comforting, because we are approaching that point right now. We have the bombs. We are building the machines. We are running the experiment on ourselves. The third possibility is that they are here, and we cannot see them. Maybe self-replicating probes are so advanced, so different from what we expect, that we would not recognize them. Maybe they are smaller than atoms. Maybe they are woven into the fabric of space itself. Maybe they are watching, waiting, studying us like we study ants. Do ants know they are being watched? Do they understand what a scientist is? Maybe we are the ants. This requires a conspiracy of silence across millions of years, across countless civilizations. It seems unlikely, but it is possible. The fourth possibility is the one that keeps me awake at night. Maybe there is something out there, something dangerous, something that hunts, something that waits for young civilizations to reveal themselves and then erases them. If this is true, then every signal we send into space is a mistake. Every radio wave, every television broadcast, a beacon saying, "Here we are, come find us." We have been broadcasting for almost 100 years now. Our signals have reached thousands of stars. If something is listening, it knows we are here. Maybe silence is not emptiness. Maybe silence is a warning. Von Neumann died in 1957. Cancer, probably from the radiation at the bomb tests. We all stood there at Trinity, watching the first explosion. We did not wear enough protection. We did not know, or maybe we knew and did not care. Von Neumann was 53 years old when he died. Too young, far too young. He never saw the space age. He never saw us launch Sputnik. He never saw us land on the moon. He never heard the term Fermi paradox. He never saw us point radio telescopes at the sky, searching for signals. I never got to ask him what he thought about the silence. I never got to ask him if he had connected the dots, if he had seen in his own mathematics what it meant for the stars. But I think about that advice he gave me, walking through the canyons. The war just ended. The world changed forever. You do not have to be responsible for the world that you are in. I used to think he was talking about guilt, about the bomb, about Hiroshima, about the 200,000 people who died because of what we built. Now I wonder if he meant something else. Not that I know. But I wonder. Maybe he understood that the universe is not made for us, that we are small,
that we are brief, that we are one species on one planet, around one star in a galaxy of hundreds of billions, that some questions do not have answers we want to hear. Von Neumann was the smartest person I ever knew. He built the architecture of modern computers. He helped design weapons that could end civilization. He predicted how life reproduces before anyone understood DNA. And he proved, mathematically, that self-replicating machines are possible. Machines that could fill a galaxy. But the galaxy appears empty. I look up at the stars sometimes, late at night, when the world is quiet, and I think about Fermi at that lunch in 1950, surrounded by geniuses, asking the simplest question, where is everybody? And I think about von Neumann, who was not there that day, who never wrote about space travel, but whose mathematics made the question so much harder, so much more troubling. People ask me what I believe. I believe in evidence. I believe in mathematics. I believe in what I can see and measure and test. And the evidence says silence. The mathematics says they should be here. The measurements say nothing. That is the paradox. That is the mystery. I do not have the answer. Nobody does. But I keep looking up. I keep wondering. Maybe that is what it means to be human. To ask questions the universe does not answer. To look into the darkness and refuse to look away. To keep searching even when we find nothing. Von Neumann gave me advice once. He told me I did not have to be responsible for the world I was in. I have carried that with me my whole life. And I think what he meant was this. Do your work. Ask your questions. Follow the evidence wherever it leads. Accept what you find, even if it is silence, even if it is mystery, even if it is loneliness on a cosmic scale. That is enough. We are here. We are asking. We are listening. And we are still looking up. Maybe the miracle is not that someone is out there. Maybe the miracle is that we are here at all. Asking the question. If this story made you think, hit subscribe. I tell stories about the scientists who changed our understanding of the universe and the questions that still haunt us. I will see you in the next one.